Greetings, family. This is Wanda. This is Diaspora Connect. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to my faithful subscribers. I want to say welcome back to the channel. Thank you for rocking with me from day one, for being with me, following me on my journey since 2020, leaving the West America and moving to Tanzania, Africa. Welcome to my new subscribers, over 1,200 new subscribers. So I want to say welcome to the channel and welcome in the room. Thank you so much for taking the time to view my videos, to check out my channel, to subscribe. Don't forget, everyone, please like so I can get my videos in circulation. Like the video, comment, and subscribe if you have not done so. So welcome to the channel. Decided to do a video today, and I wanted to talk about, now this is for my people, my family. Normally I try to talk about things in reference to Tanzania, my life here, and how to do business, how to manage, how to function, how to plan to leave America and move to Tanzania, or the West somewhere and move to Tanzania. So this video is for my black American people, right? This video is for my black American people, and I wanted us to have a discussion about black or African American, because I'm noticing, and I'm kind of slow with this, y'all. I'm a 70s baby, and I'm slow with all this viral, what everybody's talking about, a lot of stuff that's going on in these internet streets. I'm kind of slow with it. It takes me a little bit longer. I'm paying more attention now, but I wasn't really paying so much attention to what's going on in these YouTube streets. I would just think of an idea or come up with some kind of idea to do a video, and then I would go ahead and do the video. But I'm starting to pay attention more to topics that are interesting, that go viral, that people are interested in hearing about and talking about. But one topic that I wanted to just give my perspective on, and then I'm going to give a disclaimer before I even start talking. On this channel, it's called Diaspora Connect Tanzania. This is my channel. I created this channel, okay? On this channel, I share my views, my opinions, and my experience. My views, my opinion, and my experience. This is just mine. It's not everybody's opinion, and everybody won't agree. And respectfully, that's okay. But let's respectfully disagree. On this channel, and I think I mentioned in some previous videos, I don't tolerate disrespect. I'm a 70s baby, and I wasn't raised like that. So you could say I'm old-fashioned, old school. I'm a 70s baby, and yeah, I don't tolerate disrespect. If I don't disrespect you, you're not going to disrespect me on my channel. So if you are making a disrespectful comment, you will get blocked and your comment deleted. So I'm letting you know ahead of time. I don't tolerate that. It ain't no back and forth. You can give your opinion, experience, and whatever you want to say respectfully, just like I'm presenting it to you respectfully. So any type of name calling, any type of derogatory personal attacks against me, yeah, you'll be blocked and deleted. So I'm just warning you ahead of time. So before I get started, so because a lot of my views or my feelings about different topics or subjects, people don't agree with. And so it's okay to disagree. Let's agree to disagree and move on, okay? But the personal attacks is very childish, and I'm not tolerating it on my channel. So that being said, let's get into the topic. I wanted to talk about the take on black Americans and African Americans, right? When I do different videos, I notice, and I think this is like an FBA, ADOS, indigenous, aboriginal type of conversation, right? Okay, we all live in America, okay? Everybody's different. Everybody's not the same. Just like all the Europeans, they live in different places. They're all white, but they're all different. Some are, French, some are Greek, some are British, so some are American. So they, even though they are all so-called white people or Europeans, they are still different. And that's the same thing is with us in Black America. It's like we are a community, but in our community, our own, the Negro community, you have different groups. So you have some people who identify as African American, some people identify as Black, some people are indigenous to United States, some are aborigines of the United States. So meaning these people were in America first, before it was colonized, before Christopher Columbus, the European settlers came and renamed it and took it, just like they tried to do with South Africa, the Dutch people. So it's the same thing. So we understand that. Everybody, I think, is clear on that. But I'm seeing like an issue or a problem with people getting upset with others who decide to call themselves one of these that they don't agree with. So if I say personally, for me, I consider myself an African American. I consider myself a Black American as well. So I consider myself both African American, because I know that my ancestors were stolen during the transatlantic slave trade. Me personally, I believe it's true. There is a lot of historical evidence, and not only Google through the transatlantic slave trade, but also other, like in Spain and Portugal. If you go even back further than that, and then you also had the slave trade in the Arab slave trade. So yes, my ancestors were stolen from the continent of Africa, and they were brought to the United States to be slaves, to build up the state, to work for our enemies, our oppressors. So that is my story. No, I have not done any DNA tests, but in my spirit, it resonates with me. That is my story, okay? So, and I am also a Black American. Why? Because I was born in America, and my ancestors were in America for over 500 years, over 400 years now. So my bloodline has been in Africa over 500 years, but it did not originate from America. Not Africa. My bloodline has been in America for over 400 years. My family members, my ancestors, were in America for 400 years. So, yes, I have lineage. You know, I have my family was here, but that does not mean that I originate from America. So, when you hear me say African American, that's what I mean. I'm originally from my bloodline, and my bloodline originates from the continent of Africa. So I don't understand why we argue and fight over that, because technically Black Americans and African Americans was created by Europeans anyway, by our enemies, by our oppressors, by our captors. They created these names. They gave us these names, like how you name your animal, you name your cow, you name your dog, your cat. They named us because we were property when we went over. We were stolen from Africa and taken to America to build it up, to be their slaves, to pick cotton, to sugar plantations, everything. They named us. They gave us names. That's why they kept changing our names. We were Negroes and colored and African American and Black and this. So all these names were created by Europeans anyway. So we shouldn't really be arguing and fighting over if we are African American or if we are Black. We are from America, and how we got Black is because they're white. They consider themselves, they call them white. They've been called white for a while. So the opposite of them is Black, you know. So it's either you white or you Black in America. So even when foreigners come over there as immigrants, they would consider some of them white that were not white. Like some of the Hispanics, they would consider, and some of the Cubans and Venezuela, some of them, they were considered white instead of, because it was almost like a choice between either Black or white. But things started changing over time where you know, it's like, are you Hispanic, non-Black, or this? So now they specify a little bit more. But that's why you have a lot of the immigrants in America. Some of them start to take a page out of the white supremacist handbook, and they start using the same talking points as the white supremacists against us. You know, you the N-word, this, that. They start talking just like them because they are kind of classified when they first came in at that time that they were more white than black, and they were more accepted than us. Everybody in America, all immigrants are more accepted over us as black Americans, as African Americans. Everyone that comes into the country, even the continental Africans, are put above us. It's deliberate to keep us at the bottom and to make us feel low, but we fought through it, and we know who we are. So their goal to dehumanize or low rate us didn't work. We just started seeing that the immigrants from other nations that come into America, they all seem to turn on us, and they all seem to side with the white supremacists. So this is why a lot of us begin to delineate. We stop kind of dealing with other nations, you know. So okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to step away. But so yeah, I just wanted to chat about this Black American, African American debate or argument amongst us. Yeah, it's fruitless, and it's kind of silly. We shouldn't be arguing about that. Like, we really shouldn't. I just don't see, because excuse me, at the end of the day, the names that we were given was given to us by white people, even black, because we're not really black. We have different complexions. We're not black. The color is, black is a color. So these names is not worth us arguing. Even the indigenous and the aboriginal, they're aborigines. I always have a problem with that. Aborigines and the indigenous to the United States or to America. Yes, they were there before the white settlers got there to colonize it. Christopher Columbus, before, they were there before that. And then they actually killed off a lot of the natives who were there, right? So if you're a native and your bloodline is, been in America or whatever, then no one originated in America. Like, even if your ancestors were there for hundreds and thousands of years, everybody comes from Africa. But that's a whole nother conversation, because a lot of people don't agree with that, and they don't feel that way. I respect how you feel, right? But if you are indigenous to the United States, and I'm not. So don't argue with me about and trying to convince me that I'm not African American or that I'm not black. So this is the problem. Like, everybody identifies in their own way, based on maybe genealogy, or based on maybe they did where they find out like where you might be from, genealogy and all this stuff. They find out where their bloodline derives from, right? And most people, even the ones that are indigenous to America, if they do the DNA, if they get the DNA tested, they will find out that some of their bloodline comes from Africa somewhere, and in European countries too. But they may be surprised that a high amount of their DNA comes from the continent of Africa, because all of us come from Africa. But anyway, I'm just talking about the arguing about it. It doesn't make sense, because almost every time I do a video, not every time, but I'll do certain videos, and then I'll have people telling me that you're not from Africa. And I'm like, that is your story. That's your story, and you're entitled to your story. But don't tell me who I am. I'm middle-aged. I'm old enough to understand the world and, my lineage and my genes. You don't know anything about me. So when I say from Africa, I am. When I say my ancestors come from Africa, they do. So don't tell me that I'm not from Africa. And don't tell me the transatlantic slave trade didn't happen. Please don't do that to me, because it don't make sense. I'm sorry. There's too much historical evidence to prove that the transatlantic slave trade existed. The Arab slave trade existed. The Slaves were taken, dispersed throughout the four corners of the earth. You have the highest number of Africans outside of Africa in Brazil. So how did all this stuff happen? If the transatlantic slave trade that is really like it blows my mind that people actually think that. But anyway, if you think that, that's fine, think it, but don't try to push your beliefs off on other people who know and have told you that their ancestors come from Africa and that they moved back to Africa and that they want to move to Africa, which is why I'm here. I left U.S. in 2020 because I wanted to be in a land where I'm from, where I originate from. I never felt like America was my home. I never felt that way, even as a child. Growing up, watching the slave movies and Roots and Queen and all these slave movies, I never felt in my spirit that America was my home. I've always felt like a foreigner in America because I've always been treated that way by other people, not black people like me, but people that whenever I associated or were outside of my community to work with other nations, specifically white people, they made it crystal clear that we're not from America. And I know it doesn't matter how they feel or what they say, but also they are prophetic in their words even when they speak curses over us. But when they say certain things that we feel might be like a curse, they could be just speaking prophetically. Like when they keep saying the N-word, go back to Africa. They've been saying that to us like forever, ever since we stepped foot in America, that they stole us from Africa and brought us to America to work for them, to be slaves. Then when they get angry with us, the first thing they say is go back to Africa, N-word. So they've been saying this. Like, this is not a lie. This is the truth. We are from Africa. So they don't, at this point, back in 2020, at that point, nobody needed to tell me to go back to Africa because I was already planning to do it because I know that's my home. So I don't know how many times we have to hear this from other nations, not that we do what they tell us to do, but it's confirming that where your homeland might be, where you might be really from, And also the 14th Amendment was put in place specifically for the children of the slaves, for the children who were stolen from Africa and brought to the U.S. Specifically, Trump even said that with his own mouth, that the 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship, was only supposed to be for the slaves who were stolen from Africa and brought to the U.S. So he even confirmed, like, it's a lot of confirmations that there were a large number of us that were stolen from Africa and brought to America, to our ancestors, to be slaves, to serve them. And you have plantations all over the U.S., specifically in the South, confirming how we were enslaved to build certain houses and buildings. And slaves built the White House with the president, his seat, the seat of the president, the seat of the beast, not the seat of the president, which is the seat, Washington, D.C. Slaves built that. So we built a lot. So we were brought over there to do that, and we were never meant to be like citizens and to be free. We weren't really brought over there with that intention. That's why it's so hard for us to get laws and stuff to give us the rights and the freedoms the equality that we deserve, because their intention was never to do that for us. They did not think that we would ever become equal to them or rise up above slavery and bondage and captivity to be able to live a normal life like them, have a family, be free to work and make money and farm and have a house and a car. Like, they never thought that we would rise to that status, but we did against all odds. So now the laws, it's like the laws weren't created with us in mind. The Constitution and all these different laws weren't created with us in mind. That's why they can easily violate our civil and constitutional rights whenever they get ready. They can unalive us and find themselves not guilty. It's because we were considered property at the time when we came over, and when the Constitution was written, we were considered 1/3 human, and it's still in the Constitution today. So for someone to say that they are indigenous to America, but they're considered 1/3 human. It's very confusing for me, but I don't identify as a native or indigenous to the United States. Not that maybe somewhere down the line, some of my ancestors didn't like mix with some Indians or whatever, or some natives, but not that I have heard in my family. Yeah, we all Negroes in my family. So yeah, I just wanted to do this video because I wanted to talk about this conversation of Black Americans or African Americans. Like, why are we arguing with each other about that? And I know because we're arguing with each other about it, you have the outside people arguing with us about it too. Like a lot of the continental Africans trying to figure out what's going on with y'all. What are you guys? You know, 1 minute some people are saying African American, some people are saying Black, some people are saying indigenous. So within our nation in the U.S., there are different groups. So I guess that can answer some of the continental Africans' questions. Some of us identify as African Americans. Some of us identify as Black. ADOS, African descendant of slaves. That would be me. I would be ADOS, African descendant of slaves. Some of us are indigenous. Some of us Aborigines. Their ancestors were here before. So and we all look the same. So whatever that person says is what they are. Apparently, that's what they say. So same thing with me. I am not indigenous to the U.S. I'm not an Aboriginal to America. I am I originate, and I am originally my bloodline originates from Africa. So that's just me. And so, but I do consider myself as a Black American because my ancestors built the country. They fought for our rights, yeah. And we've been there over 400 years. So, yes, I am Black American. I am African American. So I use both of those interchangeably. For me, it means the same thing. You could just, in America, we usually say, us Black folks, but outside of America, I usually use more African American because internationally, a lot of people know us as African Americans. But now, since you have the Afrikaners in America, they would be considered African Americans. So, a lot of us are probably going to say more that we're Black Americans because we have to distinguish ourselves from these Afrikaners who are considered now, once they get citizenship, which they're going to get it if they don't already have it, they would be considered African Americans. So, yeah. So, but anyway, I wanted to talk about that because it's just the fighting amongst. Oh, one more thing I wanted to say. The names that we were given to these names by our oppressors, by our captors and our enemies. But the one, and this is my belief, like I said, the one who created us, the Almighty, the great I am, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he never called us any of those names. He only called us the children of Israel. And he called us daughters of Zion, which is the sisters in our nation, daughters of Zion. And he never called us like Black. He never called us African American. He never called us indigenous and Aboriginal. He just called us children of Israel, and he called us the ladies, sisters, daughters of Zion, the ladies. And the brothers were, from the different tribes, tribe of Judah. They were priests or kings or princes, so they had different titles, and he had names for them. So if we want to be technical, we are the children of Israel. We are the descendants of Abraham. We are the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are from certain tribes. So if we're going to give ourselves a name or a title outside of what the white man gave us or the Europeans gave us, it would be children of Israel. It would be as followers of the Most High and acceptance of the Messiah, his son, we would be daughters of Zion as ladies, as women. So instead of fighting over this man-made names or names that our oppressors or enemies or captors gave us, let's call ourselves something higher. At least we have the biblical scriptures to fall back on to say that this is what our maker called us. He is the potter and we are the clay. He made us with his hands. He knows every hair on your head. And so you may not believe in the same Yah or the same God that I serve, but my existence is based on his creation, like back in the book of Genesis when he created everything, man, woman, and for a purpose. So that is my belief. So if anything, I'm not going to argue over Black American, African American, indigenous, Aboriginal. I'm not going to argue with my own people about that when I know we are the children of Israel. We are the apple of his eye. We were created for a purpose. And so his purpose is my purpose. His will be done in the earth. His will be done on earth as it is in heaven, as far as I'm concerned. So I won't fight with my brothers and sisters about a title. This is why for Diaspora Connect Tanzania, I help all people that are of African descent. It doesn't matter which country you're from. It doesn't matter which spiritual practice you have, whether you are Muslim or, Kemet or African spirituality or whatever you are. Now, I will help you with practical information of how to leave the West and move to Africa, or how to function in Tanzania. Now, as far as spiritual practice, I don't get involved in spiritual talk with them because I don't believe the way they believe. I don't worship ancestors. I don't worship idols. I don't worship statues. I don't worship the idols of Egypt, all that Kemetic stuff. I don't worship none of that. I don't follow that. All this, the different things that the different the juries and all that. Yeah, I don't do none of that. So I don't. But I don't disrespect people because that is their practice. I respect what they want to believe. What they're doing with me is just consultations for practical information of how to move here and how to function here. So I help everybody, but just don't try to push your spiritual practice, ancestral worship, all that stuff on me, because I don't subscribe to that. My ancestors, they're dead. They're either in hell or in heaven, and they're up there rooting for me in heaven. In hell, yeah, they're not, but in heaven, they're rooting for me, and they're speaking to the Most High on my behalf, and the Most High sends angels to do things. So if things are revealed and you have protections and things are happening, my take on it is they're angels doing it. So it's not our ancestors because they're dead. It's for a man to die once and then the judgment. So they're dead. Their spirit is alive, but they're either in heaven or hell. It's two places. So if you're in heaven, you're in heaven, and you're not down here bothering me. You're not down here messing with me. These are angels that leading God. That's just my take on it. So if yours is different, I respect that. In that, keep it over there on your channel and where you are. But don't try to force your beliefs on me, talking about ancestors and all this stuff and magic and wizardry and sorcery. I don't vibe with that, and I'm not down with that. So that's just me, and this is my channel, so I'm speaking my truth. So thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. Thumbs up. Hit on the notification bell so you can be notified. So whenever I do a new video or a live, you will be notified. So thank you so much. I'll do another video in the next couple of days. I'm going to do a live soon. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to talk about. But if all fails, I can always just do a live for question and answers for those who are in the West and interested in relocating or repatriating to Tanzania, and they have questions. I have been here 5 years this year. I left in 2020, and I documented my journey. So if you go way back, you can see just, what I did, the steps I took. Like, I'm showing you the process of leaving and coming here, and even the difference in how I look now. Even though I left the U.S. at middle age, and I was 50 when I left. So I've been here 5 years. So you can guess my age. I am a 70s baby, and I'm in middle age right now. So, but yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll do another video in the next couple of days. So I'm going to say peace, salama, shalom, family. See you guys in the next video or live. I might do it this evening, but we'll see.